Hey everyone, it's Mr. Oda. In today's video lesson, we are going to be talking about the final topic in Unit 4, Topic 4.9, El Nino and La Nina. Now, this is going to be a fairly new and complicated topic for some of you guys, and so we're going to be going through it step by step. For this lesson, we're going to be describing the environmental changes from these events, El Nino and La Nina. And we're going to be able to describe the problems that arise from this. Now, when you're thinking about El Nino and La Nina, you want to focus on the Pacific Ocean, but especially the southern Pacific Ocean down here. Some important countries to note from here are South America. Sorry, not countries. You want to focus on South America over here and all the countries that are in this area, as well as Australia, Indonesia, and even the Philippines and other parts of Asia over here. Now, we had a lesson on global wind patterns. And so when you look at the southern Pacific Ocean, generally the winds travel from the east to the west. And so you're going to see them going from North America and South America over towards the Philippines, Indonesia, and Australia. Now, when the wind travels this way, it brings with it the warm surface water as well as rainfall. So the warm water and that precipitation is going to go over here. So the Philippines, Indonesia, and Australia are used to a decent amount of rain, whereas South America and the western side of North America are used to generally drier climates. On top of that, what you see with this moving of warm water is upwelling. Upwelling is when warm water is pushed by the winds. Colder water that contains nutrients is pushed in its place. So warm surface water is going to go one way, cold nutrient-rich water is going to go the other way. And what's going to happen is the fish that feast on the phytoplankton, the zooplankton, will move in that direction. And so because of this, you're going to see South America, which has a very large fishing market. And that's because the warm water moves towards Australia, the cold water replaces it in South America, that nutrient-rich upwelling happens, and so they have a large fishing economy over here. Now, the problem is when El Nino happens. Another way to say it is the ENSO, the El Nino Southern Oscillation. Now, this occurs every 3 to 7 years, and again, it's between Australia and South America. And what happens is the wind patterns will suddenly change directions and start to blow east towards South America. And this causes the warm water to travel in that direction now instead of towards Australia. And so this image just kind of shows you normally the warm water and warm air goes in this direction. However, during an El Nino, they change and go towards the Americas. Again, this image just kind of shows it in a normal year, warm water towards Australia, Philippines, and Indonesia. El Nino, they switch directions and go back towards South America. Now, the effects of this, to start, make sure you're comfortable looking at this. We're going to be doing a little activity in class where we're going to be coloring a thermocline, which is going to show us the temperatures of waters. Notice how in normal conditions, the warm water is more towards Australia, whereas in El Nino conditions, the warm water is moving towards the Americas. Now, on the two different sides, different things can happen because of this. In the Philippines, Indonesia, and Australia, because there's not as much warm water or rainfall, you're going to have decreased rainfall and potentially droughts and even fires because of that. Now, on the eastern side, on South America's side, you're going to have too much rainfall, and this could increase flooding. On top of that, since there's more warm water and less cold water, there's less nutrients for the fish which means that their fishing market and their economy will start to go down as a result. Again, these images kind of show you the overall climate impacts of an El Nino. Drier conditions in Australia result in droughts and fires. Warmer and wetter conditions in South America, which risks floods and landslides over here. And additionally, we can even feel some effects up here where you're going to see a warmer winter in Canada and northern US because again, the winds are going to push this way, bring with it warmer air and warmer water. These images just kind of show, again, droughts you're going to see in Australia, flooding in South America. And now La Nina is simply the opposite of that, where the normal wind patterns are just made stronger. So La Nina is same conditions as normal, but more intense. This means warm water gets pushed even more towards Australia, Indonesia, and the Philippines. What this can result in is more intense rainfall. And in South America, you get increased upwelling in fish in South America, even more dry weather. And now, even though these are technically the normal conditions, it's more of it, which is not necessarily a good thing. So what can happen in this case is that Australia might experience too much rainfall or torrential rainfall, which they might not be prepared for. South America, cooler and drier than normal temperatures might result in fires and even droughts. And opposite of El Nino, this will result in even colder winters in Canada and North America. This is just an overall image to show you how the temperatures of water are different when you have normal or La Nina conditions and El Nino conditions. Now, to check for your understanding of this, we're going to be doing a free response question that has multiple parts. You're going to be using the image shown here, which shows you normal ocean circulation and then El Nino circulation. For question 1, describe a change in ocean circulation that results from an El Nino event that is represented in the model. For question 2, explain how a change in the atmosphere that results from El Nino conditions represented in the model would affect Australia. For question 3, describe one environmental effect resulting from the conditions represented in the model that could have a negative effect on humans in Western South America. And finally, describe one negative economic impact that El Nino has. Hopefully your notes from this lesson helped you in answering that free response question. Hopefully you got a lot of information from this. And with that, we are done with Unit 4. If you have questions on this lesson or any lesson before this, please ask them in class. And I will see you guys in the next unit. Take care, everyone.